There are people whose lives pass quietly through the world, not because they lack depth, but because the world rarely pauses to listen. This guitarist lived in Kolkata, in a narrow lane where footsteps hurried and faces seldom turned, a place where usefulness was measured quickly and anything gentle was dismissed as unnecessary. The guitarist rented a small room there. He owned very little, yet every evening he carried something invisible with him, a need to let sound become breath. When dusk softened the edges of the day, the guitarist would sit outside his door with the guitar resting against him, not performing but confiding, letting the notes fall one after another as if they were remembering something he himself could not put into words. The people who passed by often said, "You play nicely, but music won't fill your stomach. You are wasting your good ears. Go and work." The guitarist listened to all of it and answered only with a slight bow of the head, because argument felt louder than truth. One evening, a group of well-dressed men paused when the melody of the guitar reached them. "Play for us," one said, smiling as if granting permission to the guitarist. The guitarist looked up at the men and asked, "What would you like to hear?" "Anything," they replied. "Just surprise us." So the guitarist played what lived closest to him, a tune without ambition, without pride, shaped slowly by patience and longing. When the guitarist finished, the men clapped lightly and said, "It is pleasant but simple. With more discipline, you could become something." The guitarist lowered his eyes and replied quietly, "Well, this is what I have become." They laughed gently and moved on, their voices filling the lane again, while he remained seated, his fingers still resting on the strings, as though leaving too quickly might disturb something fragile. Later that night, when the street lay empty and judgment itself seemed asleep, a small boy stopped in front of the guitarist. The boy had been listening from behind a doorway for months now, unsure whether such listening was allowed. After a moment, the boy asked, "Why do you keep playing when people don't stay?" The guitarist considered the question and said, "When I stop playing, something inside me begins to fade, and I am afraid of who I might become without it." The boy said, "But does it not hurt playing for no one?" The guitarist smiled. "Music is not always meant for ears, my dear. Sometimes it is meant for the heart that creates it." "But don't you wish," the boy asked again, "that someone would praise you or remember your name?" At this moment, the guitarist glanced at the darkening sky. Names disappear quickly, but if a moment stays warm inside someone, only inside someone, that is remembrance enough, the guitarist replied. The boy stood silently, feeling that the answers were not meant to be understood immediately, only carried. Years passed. The guitarist vanished one rainy season, leaving behind an empty room and a silence that felt shaped, as though the street had learned to pause. This boy, the boy who had a conversation with the guitarist, grew older. And whenever life pressed heavily upon him, he found himself slowing down in that lane where the guitarist lived, hearing not with his ears, but with memory, a melody that seemed to say, "Continue gently." Wow! What is the moral of this tale? Some people leave behind no monument, no name, no applause, only a quiet change in the hearts they once touched. And that is often the truest kind of legacy. To listen to more such tales, follow Tell a Tale with Heena. Bye.